Hello, welcome to Leaving California and Life After California. Today we are moving to Houston, Texas. Certainly. All right, let's talk about retirees. I think about half the people who are in the groups who are looking to leave are either going to retire before they leave, or they are retired and they're looking for a much lower cost of living. So can you tell us about the lifestyle of retirees there, golf courses, retirement communities, things like that?
Absolutely. So Houston, just like it has a robust economy, it also has different opportunities for every profile, every age profile of clientele. So within Houston area, we have multiple age-restricted communities, right? And these are developers coming from out of state, out of country, coming to Houston area to develop that. And the reason for that is that historically speaking, Florida has been the state where we will go and retire. But if I do an apple-to-apple comparison, Florida gets more adverse weather conditions or storms or hurricanes as compared to Texas. Then the cost of living in Texas is more affordable, no state income tax. But within Houston area, we have multiple golf courses. We have multiple clubs, country clubs, all of those. So we have a lot of clients. So whether you go to north, south, east, west, whatever part of Houston you choose, there are multiple mass planned communities which are age restricted. And what I mean by that is, in some of these areas, Terry, you have to be 60 or 65 years or older to buy a home. If you have kids visiting you, they can only stay in your home for so many days. And they can only visit so many times because they want a sense of community and all of those things. So they have activities and events planned around those people. So what's great about Houston, Texas is it is not one size fits all. In fact, Houston, or where we live, is one of the most diverse counties in the country. And what that does is you not only get one profile of people, but every age profile of people moving to Houston area. Now, when I compare to activities and outdoor events that you may have in California, trekking, hiking that you may have California, I would say Houston is flat, right? They call it the concrete jungle. So I'm not going to paint a picture today and say, move to Houston and you're going to have hills and terrain. It's not there. But what's great about Houston is, besides the job economy and the housing market, we are 2 to 3 hours away from cities like Austin, right? And Austin is a great city to live in. And I give a lot of credit to it. A lot of economic development, also a lot of greenery, a lot of landscape. So that's the closest city in terms of topography that you have from California to Austin. But Austin has limited growth opportunity. They have a great infrastructure, they have a lot of IT companies, but the medical center of Houston is one of the best in the world. And one thing I'll tell you, Terry, is while oil prices can go up or down, and it can impact any economy, but when you have a city or a location that's run on the medical field, people are going to fall sick. People need medical attention. I mean, the Medical Center of Houston brings patients from world over to Houston area. They come in for medical care, and sometimes when they come for a few years for ongoing medical treatment. And when they come here, a lot of time after the medical treatment, they don't want to go back. They choose to staying over here, whether they come from different state or different country. So what I want to highlight to you is this: while Houston may not be the most beautiful city, but the cost of living, the job opportunities, and then we are just a few hours distance from Austin. I mean, we have the Galveston Beach, which is probably not as clean or nice as California beaches, but at least there's some water not too far from Houston area.
Well, and the Gulf of Mexico is warm. That's a real plus. I can't swim in the ocean here. It's too darn cold, but you can swim in the Gulf of Mexico and it's beautiful. Hey, let's talk about what is Houston's best kept secret?
I would say there are two secrets, right? And one is the perception of people. The second one secret for me is the diversity and the food in Houston. Okay, you can pick any cuisine you want to pick, from Mongolian to Indian to Vietnamese to South African. Houston is a melting pot of different cultures. Houston is melting pot not just for culture, but also for cuisine. So what I would say is you name the kind of food you want, and we have those restaurants or hole-in-the-wall places in Houston area. That's one of the best kept secrets. But the other aspect which I really want to highlight upon is this, a lot of people try to stereotype Texas or Houston area as, it's a red state or it's a blue state. My personal opinion is this, Terry, that Houston is very, very diverse. If you have certain political beliefs, there are areas in Houston that are affiliated to that side of the spectrum. You have different beliefs, there's different parts of Houston where you can have that affiliation as well. So when people say Texas is only one kind of people living over here, that's completely untrue. Things are evolving. But what I love about Texas is, or especially Houston is, does not matter whether you're on the left side or right side. The equal amount of people over here. So if you want to associate with your kind of people, there are pockets of Houston which support one ideology, one pocket of Houston that supports the other ideology. So I would say two best secrets: the food and the ideology behind Houston area.
That's great information. Thank you for that. Let's real quick, let's just touch upon the sports teams. You got some pretty darn good sports teams there too, don't you?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, we have the right football teams, basketball teams, and Astros and all those people. And Houston, Texas, while we have a great teams, but a lot of people like the outdoors over here. So when we have these baseball events or football events, tailgating, just like any other city or state happens over here. We're not too far from other neighboring states, Florida and then Louisiana. So when we have big events over here, a lot of people come to Houston. So we have the Reliance Stadium, we have the Minute Maid Park, we have football stadium. So for a sports fan, I'm not sure what the rankings are in the country, but people who are sports fans, we have a lot of fanatics in Houston. We have sports bars. So for example, my brother-in-law is from Boston area. He's a big Red Sox fan, right? There are certain bars in Houston area that are just Red Sox fan bars, right? Then there are bars and restaurants which are geared towards Yankees from New York. So you name what kind of sporting following you have, not just from Texas, from any part of Houston, any part of the country, any of a sports bar or a restaurant geared towards that. So that's what I love about Houston, Tay, that does not matter what part of country you migrate to Houston from, you always find your kind of people because it truly is a melting pot in Houston area.
Wow, that's great. Well, Kunal, it's been a pleasure meeting with you today. I know that you'll get a lot of people reaching out to you, asking more questions, perhaps even considering coming out to Houston to look for homes with you, or more questions about what's happening in your market. Before we go, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Absolutely, yes. So one thing I want to add, Terry, is this, the perception of Texas or Houston is very, very skewed. I'll give you a true example. When my sister got married to my brother-in-law, he used to live in Boston. And she was married there for about 3 years. It took him almost 3 to 4 years to convince my brother-in-law to pack his bags and move from Boston to Houston. And every time I would see him and I would talk to him moving to Texas, he said, Kunal, I'm not moving to Texas. You guys have horses running around everywhere. You have cows on the street. I mean, the perception of Texas is there are cowboys and there's just crazy stuff happening here. But when you actually come and spend some time in Houston, Texas area, you realize it's a great mix of both. You want to have a suburban lifestyle, you can move 20, 40 minutes away from Houston area. You can buy a ranch style home on 1 to 2 acres. You can have horses on your yard. You want to have the hustle and bustle of New York or California, buy a condo, buy a home inside the loop. So what I would say is this: when you are thinking about Texas, take the time to do more research. Visit Texas, visit Houston, and see in person what is it like. Come during the peak summer month. See how hot it is in the summer month. See how pleasant it's in the evening. I can say all day long, evening gets pleasant. But someone who has lived in California all their life, leaving California, moving from that state to a different state, it's a very big decision. I'll give you another data point. A lot of people, when they have their kids going to college, what do? They go visit campuses, see what campus makes the most sense, because it's a very important decision for their son or daughter to go to college for 4 years or 5 years. Same way, when you're thinking about leaving California, take a weekend off, or take 2 days off, visit Houston, visit Texas, experience for yourself. And I've had so many clients and they have this misconception about Texas, Houston, and I invite them, hey, come to Houston, spend a day, spend a weekend. And when they truly get to experience firsthand what Texas and Houston is all about, they're blown away. And the mindset, what they perceive about Texas, is changed overnight. So what I would advise everyone is, Don't go by what you read or see or what you may have watched in movies. Come experience Texas for a weekend or for a day or two, and you will truly see the value what Houston, Texas brings to our market.
Thank you for that, Kunal. Hey, before we go, we'll post your contact information at the end, but if folks have questions as a follow-up, what's the easiest way to get a hold of you?
So I can certainly give up my name, my number, and phone number, all that stuff, but I'll give you an easy number to remember. It's 1-855-SETH-BRO. 1-855-SETH-BRO. That's a direct number to our office. Now, if you want a personal cell phone number, it's 832-543-3222. My email address is kunal@thesethbrothers.com. So you may forget all these numbers, but as long as you remember, there's a Seth brother guy in Texas. Just remember 1-855-SETH-BRO, and you'll reach me directly.
Awesome, Kunal. Well, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure to get to know you over the last couple of months. You've become a friend, and I appreciate it. I can't wait to come out to Houston to tour the area myself, and maybe we'll bring some folks with us. Who knows? But it's been a pleasure, and I look forward to more conversations with you. And thank you again for your time today.
Terry, thank you for allowing me to share my perspective on Texas, and I would welcome with open arms anyone who wants to visit Houston and see what's all about. Thank you, Terry.
Thank you, Kunal.